Take a look at what our customers are facing. And when we do that, we show that there's a world of opportunity for HDS and Hitachi around the world. So what do we see? We see the data landscape changing. We see the growth in the areas of unstructured data, machine-to-machine data. And so you can see why we have focused so much time and effort on file and content. But there's more to it. There's more around machine-to-machine generated data that I think our Hitachi colleagues in Hitachi will be able to analyze and will be able to manage much better than any of our competitors can. So if you take, for example, healthcare, energy, transportation, a lot of this data is going to be in areas that our Hitachi colleagues have expertise in and have been in these businesses for many years. And so when you
And if you can get this, you now have truly started and proceeded down the path to success. The number one law of money is power creates money, powerlessness repels it. Now, I'm going to tell you what I mean by that in 1 second, but you have got to understand that as I stand on this stage, I could relate to every single one of you who stood up. Not because I've heard all of your stories for the past 12 years on the Susie Orman Show, but because I was you.
3 years of Family Ties and a stint as a werewolf later, I did Back to the Future and nothing ever was the same. Being successful in Hollywood was its own new problem. I gave it a name, the Fun House. Things start to get distorted, like suddenly people you've always wanted to meet your whole life now want to meet you. There's a story, one time I was in a celebrity hockey team and we were invited to play a game against the Boston Bruins in Boston at the Garden. And the big deal about this game was going to be a standalone celebrity exhibition game with Boston Bruin old-timers. And the big deal about this was Bobby Orr was going to play. And Bobby Orr was my hero. And it sold out in Boston, sold out the Garden, and it was going to be the first time he had been on the Garden ice since he got traded away from Boston. So it was a really big deal. And I was in the dressing room with George Wendt, who was from Cheers. So he was our coach. It was either coach or goalie. And we were talking in the dressing room, and I was putting my skates on, and Bobby Orr came in and sat down just down the way across from us. And George was like, "Geez, that's Bobby Orr." And I said, "I know it's Bobby Orr." And then Bobby Orr looked over at us and smiled, and then he came over and came over to talk to me. And George freaked out. He had to leave. And so I'm talking to Bobby, and he's talking to me, and I'm just slack-jawed. I can't believe this Bobby Orr in front of me. And he's talking to me, and then he slaps me on the knee and goes back and gets dressed. And George came over and said, "What did he say?" And I said, "I don't know what he said. I was out of my mind." And so then we go out on the ice, and towards the end of the first period, it's just the last minutes of the first period, I had the puck, took the puck out of our corner, and I was coming up on the blue line, and Bobby Orr was on the blue line. And I did a quick move, and I put the puck between his legs, and I deked around and picked it up on the other side, broke away, and scored.
It goes from 0 to 17,500 miles an hour in only 8.5 minutes. Imagine what it would feel like to be on a runaway train going down the tracks at 1,000 miles an hour. That's what it feels like to be on the space shuttle. Well, we rendezvoused with the space station. 3 days into the mission, we spent 17 days on orbit, and then it was time to come home.
I want you to remember that you have the power as a human being. You have a God-given power to change your state. You can change your mental state, you can change your emotional state, and you can change your physical state. When you feel fear or dread, you can say, "I'm afraid." Check your state, acknowledge the truth of, right now I'm filled with dread and fear, and the phone weighs 1,000 pounds and I don't want to pick it up.